Hi, boys and girls. Today is Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. We are starting the new packet. I hope most of you received your new packet. If you haven't, you will still have some time, I guess, to get them. So most of you should have them because they did the drop off yesterday. So I'm beginning it today. Remember, you still have time to drop off the old packet that I was working on with you, which was chapter 10, and then those other two little packets. Again, if you're still working on those, remember, you don't have to finish every single page. Do the most that you can and then hand it in. Because if you hand it in, you're going to get credit for it. Because today, as I said, I'm moving on to the new packet, which is chapter 12. So here is the new learning target. I can describe two-dimensional shapes. So that's what we're going to be working on. We're going to be doing a lot of geometry, which is the study of different types of shapes, whether they're two-dimensional, flat, or three-dimensional shapes, okay? So there's a lot that we will do in this chapter. I think you'll enjoy it. I have some great stories that I'm going to post also about geometry that I hope you enjoy. So today I'm going to begin in the packet. So before I start, I went over the learning target, and I want you to think about a couple of things before I work into the packet. So one of the things we're going to talk about today is, what do you know about shapes? Now, you can look around your home and name shapes that you see. You've been learning about shapes probably since you were in kindergarten. So you should be able to tell me different shapes that you see in your home, maybe the windows, the refrigerator, a piece of fruit. You know what those shapes are. So just look around your home and see what kind of shapes are there, just to get that in your mind, because that's what we're going to be talking about. All right, so you can do that with your parents. Next, we're going to talk about some differences in shapes. Here I wrote, what is different between a triangle and a square? So if I look at the triangle and I look at the square, I can definitely see some differences. I know a triangle is only a three-sided figure, where a square is four sides. I also know that all the sides on a square are equal. They are all the same. So there's a lot of things you can talk about with simple shapes with your family, okay? Also, we'll be talking about how a square and a rectangle are alike and how they are different. Well, they both have four sides. What makes them different is that a square has four equal sides. And you can think of some other reasons how they're alike and how they're different. Again, you can talk about that with someone in your family. So we're going to begin talking about plane shapes. Plane shapes are two-dimensional, which means they are flat, like a flat triangle, a flat circle, a flat square, something that you would take a pencil, like I did, and draw it on a sticky note. They are two-dimensional, 2D. Also, they are closed, which means they have no opening, and they start and end at the same point. So, for example, if I zoom in here again, and I was to draw another triangle for you, I would start at the top, make my three sides, and I ended at the top. So that's also important to remember, that these two-dimensional figures are not only closed, but they start and end at the same point. Okay, my friends, let's get started. So again, our learning target is that we can describe two-dimensional shapes. So at the top, boys and girls, I'm at 12.1. And I'm on the first page, chapter 12, page 697. This is it for the math, okay? And then at the top it says describe plane shapes. So let's unlock the problem. It says an architect draws plans for houses, stores, offices, and other buildings. Look at the shapes in the drawing at the right. So they basically told you what an architect is, if you were not sure. This is a person who draws plans for houses to be built, stores, offices, and other buildings. Maybe one day you'll be an architect. So here is the drawing. You have different shapes inside of that drawing that the architect drew. So we can see the shapes in the drawing, and there are many. Now it goes on to say, a plane shape is a shape on a flat surface. It is formed by points that make curved paths, line segments, or both. Now remember, these words that you're about to see are some of the same words I showed you on that poster yesterday that I put on YouTube. So the first one is a point. It's an exact position or location, and there they labeled it for you. Underneath is the word endpoints. These are points that are used to show segments of lines or pieces of lines. So you have endpoints on both ends of this line, so that is just part of a line. Then, of course, you have the word line. It is a straight path. It continues in both directions. Why? Because you have arrows there, which means it goes on in both directions forever, and it does not end. Next is a line segment. These are words we talked about yesterday in that poster I showed you. This is a straight. It is only part of a line, and it has two endpoints. So again, here's the two endpoints, and it's only part of a line. All right, moving down to the word array. We know array is straight. It is part of a line. It has one endpoint, and it continues in one direction. So again, this ray is pointing to the right. I could make a ray that goes up. I can make a ray that only points to the left, but each one of those rays has an endpoint. All right, moving on. It says some plane shapes are made by connecting line segments at their endpoints. One example is a square. Describe a square using math words. So now we're going to describe the square using math words. Let's fill in the blanks. A square has 4 line segments. 1, 2, 3, 4. The line segments meet at their end points. Then over here it says think, and I'll just leave it there for a second, and I'm going to go to the other side of this paper. It says think, how many line segments and endpoints does a square have? Well, we already answered that, which is 4. I want you to look at the math talk. So let me just zoom in here a little bit. It says math talk, apply. Why can you not measure the length of a line? So they want to know why you can't measure the length of a line, not a line segment, a line. Well, we know we can't do that because a line goes on forever in both directions. A line goes on forever in both directions. Oopsie. Please copy. And I'll zoom in if you can't see that. Please write, a line goes on forever in both directions. That's why you can't measure the length of a line, because it's continuously moving in both directions forever. That's why it has arrows at the end. It's not a line segment, it's a line. All right, pause if you need to. I'm going to go on to the next page, 698. All right, so let's take a look up here. And at the top, oops. All right, it says, plane shapes have length. Hold on. Plane shapes have length and width, but no thickness. So they are also called two-dimensional shapes. They don't have thickness. They have length and width, but they don't have thickness. They don't have an inside, so that's why they're called two-dimensional or 2D. It says try this, draw plane shapes. So in this first box, they're showing you plane shapes can be open or closed. A closed shape starts and ends at the same point. So all of these are closed. This is closed. Looks like the Pac-Man, right, that you see in the video game. It's closed. They start and end at the same point. But over here, it says in this space, draw more examples of closed shapes. So we could draw a rectangle, that's closed. We could draw a hexagon, that's closed, right? We could draw a diamond, that's closed. Now, if you can think of another closed shape, you can draw some more if you'd like. I just gave you 3. They're closed. How do we know that? Because they start and end at the same point. All right, now I'm going to the bottom. Now we know open shapes do not start and end at the same point. So an open shape does not start and end at the same point. They're open. This squiggly line is open, open. There's an inside, open, it's not closed. This S is not closed. This is part of a rectangle. It's not closed because you don't have a line there. So again, on this side, in the space below, draw more examples of open shapes. So you could draw whatever you want, boys and girls. I could draw the letter X, that's open. The letter F, that's open. Letters are great examples of some open figures because these are just figures. They don't have names to them, really, like the ones over here on this side of the paper. There's no name to them, right? So think of some more shapes that you can draw that are open. It could be anything you want, as long as it does not start and end and it's closed. It has to be open. Now I'm going to do the math talk again. So it says, explain whether a shape with a curved path must be a closed shape, an open shape, or can be either. So they want us to explain whether a shape with a curved path must be closed, open, or either. What do you think? Take a second and think. Is it a curved path? It has curves in it. Is it open? Is it closed? Or can it be both? When they're saying either, they're asking you, can it be both? Well, it can be both, boys and girls, because here's the example. The letter S and the letter B. If you look at the letter B, the letter B is a shape with curved paths and it's closed, right? But the letter S is also a shape with a curved path, but it's open. So it can be both. So please write that. And I just gave you the example with the letter S and the letter B. It can be both. It can be a curved path that's open, a curved path that's closed. This is an example, the letter S, of a curved path that is open. This is an example of a curved path that is closed. Okay, now I'm going to the bottom. It says, is the plane shape at the right a closed shape or an open shape? Explain how you know. So here's our four-sided figure. Is it closed or is it open? Well, this is easy, right? It's closed. So let's write. And then we have to explain how we know. It is closed. Please write that. Because it starts and ends at the same point. So take a minute and copy this sentence. It is closed because it starts and ends at the same point. Let me just zoom in a little bit so you guys can see and you can write. Okay, how's that? It is closed because it starts and ends at the same point. So while you're writing that, I'm just going to show you up here because I don't want to zoom out. This was the figure. I'm going to start here. Did I end up at the same place I started? Yes. I started at this point. I went around and made the figure, and I ended at that point. So we know it's closed. So please copy that sentence. Okay, pause the video if you need to. Guess what? I'm going to do one more page because these are pretty easy. So I think that you're going to enjoy this. So we're going to keep going, my friends. All right, at the top it says share and show. Write how many line segments this shape has. How many, everybody? It's a triangle. 3. Circle all the words that describe this shape. This is a what? Is it a ray or a point? It's just a ray. It does have an end point, but it's not a point. All right, number 3, open or closed. We know it's closed. Number 4, open or closed. We know it's open. Number 5, is this a line or a line segment? Line segment, because it has 2 endpoints, so it's only part of a line. Number 6, write whether the shape is open or closed. Easy. Open. Number 7, closed. Number 8, we know, closed. And number 9, open. It's got a little part that's open. Okay? On your own, you could do this real quick, but I'm going to do it quick too. Write how many line segments the shape has. You should have counted 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 12. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And number 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a hexagon. We're going to talk about different shapes and their names a little bit later. Number 14, write whether the shape is open or closed. Easy. This is, oopsie, not open. It's closed. Number 15, open. Number 16, closed. And number 17, closed. Okay, we're done. I've gone about 19 minutes, so that's it. Okay, friends, so this is what we're going to be working on, geometry. I think you're going to like this, this chapter. It's fun. There's a lot in here, and there's some fun things we can do with it. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good day. Get outside. The rest of the week's supposed to be beautiful. Okay, bye guys.